So we're going to start our garden today, and with that, I'm gonna just jump right into it. So definitely make sure you have all your materials: the water sprayer, your water pitcher, a watering can. That's what it says on the label. So, and then your tray, which you see I have already started planting a few of these. Now you're gonna need, along with those materials and your little boxes of stuff, there's a few more elements to successfully growing your garden, which is sunlight, water, care, and patience. Those are the ones that you need the most. Now, what do I mean by care and patience? If you see on the back here, and all these little cards, there's all, which I don't think you can see because it's a little too bright, but basically if you read the back of every single one of your seed markers, they all have an estimate of time that it takes in order for it to be harvested. Now, with these, like all of your vegetables, you're going to be able to grow what's called microgreens. And microgreens are basically like a baby version of the vegetable itself, which is like really cool. And it's adorable. It's a little baby version. Alright, so cucumber, right? First things first, obviously, gloves. But when you're about to dump in your seeds, you might want to take off your gloves for that, because when I first did basil, I dropped the basil seeds because I had my gloves on. So I'll show you guys. Cucumbers up here. So take out your little cucumber seeds. These are pretty big, so you won't have to really worry about losing them too much. Let me show you the magic of this little dirt disc, because this is so cool, guys. I really didn't even think that it was dirt until I saw it. So I went digging for dirt for absolutely no reason, and it was kind of funny. Alright, so here's the little disc, and then I'm just gonna spray it. Don't spray the laptop, obviously. Or make sure you don't have any electronics that can possibly get wet. You don't want that to happen. So it's growing. You see how it's thickening the more I spray it? It's so cool. Look at that. It's literally growing. This is, I don't know why, but I find this absolutely fascinating. It's thickening, it's turning into dirt. So I'm gonna try to mush that up in there. Make sure you do this over the tray, not on the floor, of course. So we're gonna mush that up and turn it into that good old soil. Right? Of course, you don't have to use a utensil or anything like that, but if you have a stick, a disposable one, of course, not something that comes from your actual utensils that you use to eat, because that'll definitely upset your parent. But if you have something disposable, like something plastic, something you could throw away, that's fine. So I'm using this little fork, this disposable fork, to make a little pit. When you grow things, it's good to make just a tiny little pit, so that way you could just cover the seeds. You don't want to leave your seeds exposed, because then they won't grow right. So I'll show you. I made my little pit. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little hole in the middle. And I'm going to drop my seeds in there, and then I'm going to cover it up. Bloop. Silly paper. Makes it hard to kind of grab them. This is real cool because you could just like grow whatever you want and then just eat it right after. And this actually gives you more of a reason to just try vegetables because you're actually growing it yourself. I think it would be really cool to like actually taste something that you took the time and patience to grow all by yourself. So those seeds are nice and pitted in there and ready for growth. Then after you plant it like that, you could just spray some water to seal this garden deal. All right, so you have this booklet. This booklet is gonna be your helpful go-to guide when it comes to understanding the care of these plants. And now what I mean by that is there's an app that connects to these things like that you're growing. Now it says growing food. A lot of food we eat comes from plants, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, and different parts of plants that grow in or under the soil. Oops, I'm on page 6. Page 4. Because this is just content and stuff. You should write your name in there too. Personalize it. So, use your Grow and Learn app to scan the marker on the top of your seed pod. Watch your garden spring to life. To discover more about your crop, scan the marker on the seed identifier. You can get information and advice about what you're growing, learn about other seed pods you can collect, get tips and tricks to help you become an expert grower. For veggie recipes, ask an adult to follow Stop and Shop on social media, blah, blah. You don't have to do the rest of the part, but I think that the other parts are pretty cool. So if you have access to an Android phone or you have an Android phone yourself, you could download that app and basically like follow along with it and see cool stuff about your plants. You don't have to if you don't have it. That's okay too. You could just follow along with me. Okay, so next I'm going to put my little seed marker on there so I know what I have planted. And this takes 14 weeks to then harvest. And majority of these take just about 14 to 24 weeks in between. So like this one takes 12 weeks, and that's scallions. This one takes 24 weeks. This one takes 15. Now, let me tell you about some cool stuff that you can actually do with these once they mature and are ready to be harvested. So cucumbers. You can have them in any salad you want. They're really refreshing, they're filled up with water, and they're really good for you, very healthy. Scallions. You can make a lot of like Asian inspired dishes with scallions, and you can also put them in soup and stuff like that. Kale, I don't really eat kale too much, but there's recipes you could find with kale. And what is that? Basil. Is that no, that's beets. Beets, you can put stuff with it. I'm really not a fan of beets. That's okay if you don't like a vegetable. Doesn't mean you have petty taste buds. But or like, it doesn't mean anything really. Just means you just don't like vegetables. But they are good for you, and you never know. I really didn't like vegetables until one day somebody was making vegetables and they were like, hey, like, you should try this. And I was like, ew, yuck, vegetables. And they're like, no, bro, like, it's really good. Just put a little bit of seasoning on it and it's bomb. And I tried it and it was like asparagus and it was like really good. I don't regret that because now I wrap my asparagus, I wrap my asparagus in bacon and it's amazing. So definitely broaden your horizons with eating different stuff because you never know. You might make something in the kitchen and be like, oh, I just did something here. and then actually like make your own recipe. Who knows? These are turnips. I'm gonna show you guys how to make these turnips, or how to plant them rather. Turnips. It's actually kind of a lot of stuff on here. Thyme, basil. Oh, here we go. Turnips, right? So put your gloves on. Like I said, you don't need your gloves to grab the seeds. These seeds are tiny, tiny, tiny. You don't want to lose your seeds. And when you open your packet of seeds, make sure that you're doing it over something that you're not gonna lose them on. Because if you have them over something like a table, they could bounce off of it and stuff like that. So have like a tiny bowl or something that you know you could see them with, so that way when you take it out, they don't like fly everywhere and you lose them. So then spray. Spraying all the greatness that is spring. Okay, that's pretty good. I could just literally stuff that in there. Kind of messy, so definitely don't do it over something you don't want to get dirt on, because then you'll get dirt on it. So I'm taking off my gloves, and then we're gonna make that little pit like I showed you with the cucumber, and then we're gonna dump our turnip seeds inside of it. That's pretty good. All right. This is actually pretty fire, guys, because like you could just one day use one of these vegetables you grow, because they could get big enough that you could actually transfer it to a bigger pot or something, or maybe outside somewhere if you guys have something outside where you could transfer your plants to, which is cool, because then like you can make more plants. Oh, these turnips are so tiny. I'm gonna try my hardest not to lose these seeds. This is an example of how tiny these seeds can come. These are very tiny. This is basically like a tray of free food if you think about it. Only difference is you just gotta like add some meat if you eat meat to it. A little bit of seasoning and some other stuff you could find. Use your online resources if you have it, you know. Find information about what beneficial properties these vegetables could have. I mean, we eat things all the time, and sometimes they could be harmful, sometimes they could be beneficial. And obviously, knowing that these are vegetables and they're organic because they're being grown by you, they're going to be helpful. They're going to have good benefits for your body. So definitely just look it up, you know. Some of them are good for your eyes, some of them are good for your blood circulation, some of them are good for functions in your body. You know, I had a doctor once tell me, he said, if you eat stuff, like good stuff, right? Put good stuff in your body's gonna give out good stuff. And what he meant by that was The better you treat your body with eating things that are beneficial for your body, the better your body's gonna treat you. So you're gonna feel better, you're gonna breathe better, you're gonna function better. And it's true. Cranberries, it's not a vegetable, it actually is a fruit. But cranberries are very beneficial for the urinary tract, and certain urinary tract infections that people get, they use cranberry juice. So you never know, a vegetable could probably save you from certain infections or certain stuff. They probably have properties that help out your immune system, which is good, because then that means you have immunity towards getting sick. You have a less chance of getting sick, and that's more important during these times. It's very important for us to be taking better care of our bodies to ensure that we're healthy. A lot of people that are being affected nowadays are people that have immune systems that are very low. However, eating greens is something that'll keep you out of the way of potentially being sick. Also, water, drinking water. But this is primarily what these vegetables consist of, because if you think about it, we're giving them water. So water is it's good for all living things. It's good for us, it's good for plants. And it's actually part of your oxygen. It's H2O. It's actually, well, not necessarily part of your oxygen, but oxygen is part of water. So in a way, it's kind of vice versa. Because if you think about it, water is chemical component of H2O, which is 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. So there's actually oxygen inside water, which is weird, because then that means certain fishes can actually drown. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Alright, I'm just gonna do this parsley, and then you guys definitely, I recommend you guys to do the rest. I'm gonna do the rest off camera, but follow along with me. I want to see what your guys' results are. I'm also gonna hold like Zoom videos or Zoom meetings, if you guys need it, for you guys to ask me any questions about how to grow these, or any questions you may or may not have about your garden that you're going to make. Because I want to see you guys how, like, your progression, how you're doing with it, if you need help, because that's what I'm there for. Okay, so this parsley, got my hands dirty again, and I'm gonna put these gloves on, which I should have had them on. That's okay. These parsleys are so tiny, super tiny, so I'm gonna try to like not lose them. Oh, I think these are actually like soluble. Okay, so I'm assuming you can just like, I'm gonna try this because I didn't try with the rest. I'm gonna just ball these up and then see how that works. I'm gonna wet it a lot, because when I just wet this, it felt like kind of slimy. So I'm assuming you can like just ball it up, spray it, dump it, and then pack it on top. Spray, 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 spray. Make sure that soil's nice and damp. All right. So, tell me how it goes. If you guys need help, you guys have my number and stuff. We can make a Zoom video. I want to see you guys' progression on this, okay? So finish it up. Put all your little dirts and your little seeds or whatever. Make them vegetables. And like I said, if you guys need any help, if you guys have any questions on the care, stuff like that, just let me know, because that's what I'm there for. keep these in a sunny place. So after we water them and all that stuff, put it in a spot where there's a lot of sunlight. Also, spray it up at least once a day. Once a day, spray them, check on them, see the growth. Use your observations, make hypothesis, hypothesize what you think is going to happen, like what's going to happen with the growth or how they're going to grow or anything like that. Like, just make predictions. And also, if you want, Google what the beneficial properties of each one of these vegetables is for you. Like carrots, I know they're good for eyesight, and broccoli's good for fiber, makes you poop. So read up on stuff, see how it affects your body, and continue growing that green thumb, because it's good to grow stuff. So I hope you guys like my video. I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy.